Gillette. It's eerily quiet, but we've got football back. It's football weather. The Inactives just came out, and I want to break them down, Evan, because a couple surprises here. Jarrett Stidham is one of them. Josh Uche, Cash, we expected to be inactive, Corey Cunningham, and Dalton Keene. Obviously, Jarrett Stidham probably the biggest surprise on that list. Does this mean that Brian Hoyer is QB2 in the eyes of the Patriots?
Yeah, Sierra, and we're here at Gillette, and it is eerily quiet right now. It just doesn't feel like we're about to kick off the season. But to answer your question about Brian Hoyer and Jarrett Stidham, I think what we saw in training camp is being kind of backed up here by what we saw from Bill Belichick, and that is that Brian Hoyer has the best command of this offense right now, just from a mindset standpoint, between the ears. And I think what we're going to see is something that you pointed out before we started recording here, Sierra, that Brian Hoyer's kind of ability to be a second quarterback coach, be another set of eyes for Cam Newton. The Patriots find that more important than dressing Jarrett Stidham in this game. So a little bit of a surprise, but I think based off of training camp, based off of the fact that Hoyer is essentially, another coach holding the clipboard there, this sort of makes a little bit of sense to, give that spot on the active game day roster to somebody else and not to a third quarterback.
Let's talk about Josh Uche, because we did a video earlier this week about the rookies who would have the most impact week 1 and beyond. And we thought Uche would be right up there at the top of the list, considering, the linebacker depth issue that they have. And here he is week 1, inactive. What's going on here?
This is a shocker to me, honestly. I thought Uche was going to be right in the mix with the top linebacker group, especially in pass rush situations, third down, second and long, things like that, where they are really going to unlock this pass rush. He was in camp one of the better pass rushes that they had, just from the 12 practices that we saw. So I don't know if there's an injury situation going on, if something else is going on that we don't know about with Uche. He wasn't on the injury report, so this is a big stunner, especially the fact that they have Anthony Jennings active for this game and not Uche. So they have one rookie, but not the other. Again, I thought Uche was going to be a huge factor in the pass rush for this team, at least, on those third down situations, those rush packages that they put on the field that we see so often. That's not going to be the case here today. So it's going to be a lot of Brandon Copeland, I would think, the veteran linebackers, DeJuan Bentley, Copeland, Freddie Jennings, like I mentioned, is probably going to be in the mix as well. But again, a pretty big surprise here for Uche being inactive. Maybe there is something going on that we don't know about.
One more slight surprise, Dalton Keene, the rookie tight end, also inactive in this game. We saw Cam Newton just moments ago on the field throwing passes to Devin Asiasi in the end zone. So I'm assuming it's going to be the Ryan Izzo and Asiasi show today.
Exactly, and I think what we've seen with Keene is something that Belichick mentioned when they drafted him back in April, is that this is a very big transition schematically from what Keene was doing at Virginia Tech to what he's going to be doing here in New England. So just from a mental standpoint, his ability to kind of absorb all that information is probably a lot to ask to get him in some serious snaps or serious playing time situations here right off the bat. So I think what we're seeing, Izzo, by far the most experienced tight end in the system, really the guy that knows the playbook the best, and whether it's pass or it's run, he kind of knows what he's doing. Whereas I think with Asiasi and with Keene, I think it's more about certain packages that those guys are going to be in. I anticipate Asiasi to be used heavily on third down, red area, 2 minute, that kind of thing, when it's really just about airing out the football. Izzo, I think, is going to play the lion's share of the snaps at tight end, and Asiasi will kind of sprinkle in there in passing situations.
Like I said, the only other two inactives, Corey Cunningham and Cash Maluia, not major surprises here. This will be about the time that fans start trickling in. This place is getting loud, but as you said, eerily quiet. You can hear just about everything going on in the stadium, from reporters doing their pregame hits to when the players were out on the field getting ready. But we have to talk about, before we sign off for our game coverage, the Cam Newton era is among us, right? We saw Cam Newton warming up for the first time. Number 12, no longer on the field. What's to expect today from Newton in his Patriots debut?
Well, you mentioned the quietness about this stadium right now. You can hear Cam Newton out there hooting and hollering just during the pregame warm-up to the pregame warm-up, right? So he's already jacked up, I think. But the one thing that I'm really looking forward to is what we saw him out here doing, which is rolling out of the pocket and throwing on the run. Let's see what this offense has in store for Cam Newton, whether it's going to be a bootleg play-action series like what he was practicing out here earlier, or RPOs, or zone reads, or gap reads, or whatever concept they want to run with the mobile quarterback. I think Josh McDaniels has really been clamoring. He's had that package. He's had those mobile quarterback plays in his arsenal all along, but he just hasn't had the quarterback, obviously with Brady being here, to run those types of plays. So I think McDaniels is really excited to sort of start a new chapter here and be able to pick up some things that he wasn't going to be able to do with Brady with Cam. Cam, like I said, he's already bringing the energy. I think that's going to be really important here today because it's so dead in the stadium right now. The players on the team, on the field, are going to have to manufacture their own energy. And I think number one is going to be, a big part of that.
Well, not Cam Newton, N'Keal Harry, Julian Edelman, both good to go after dealing with some minor injuries this week leading up to practice. Before we sign off, make sure to follow Evan Lazar at Easy Lazar, myself at Sierra Goodwill, and of course at Patriots CLNS on Twitter for all the behind-the-scenes looks at Week 1 in this unprecedented situation. But football's back. We're ready to go for all of our post-game coverage. Stay tuned on our website at clnsmedia.com and on our YouTube channel at Patriots Press Pass. Evan, your prediction for Week 1, Patriots Dolphins.
I'm sticking to my prediction the other day, Sierra. Stephon Gilmore taking one back to the house to pad the sleeper of the Patriots. I'll go 24-16.
I like it. I'm just going to go 24-17, so no big discrepancy there. Let us know your predictions over on Twitter, and stay tuned for all of our post-game coverage. We'll see you then.